Welcome back, everyone, to Cast Iron IronCast.
I'm not going to be making...
This happened the last time. The last video. Because I'm like editing, doing the post-production stuff. Mm-hmm. And we hit the record button. And one of you said something that was really funny. So I'm over at the side snickering. And you're starting the podcast. And now it happened again. They're really funny before you hit the buttons.
Well, doggone it, we'll do it again. We have a loose topic. Today.
Make sure you get all the syllables in there. Because if
general topic of discussion, loosely. It's Elon's Musk. Mr. Elon's Musk. And what everyone thinks about him, pros and cons of both him and his efforts and his businesses and whatnot. So,
we're gonna do the Christian thing and talk about him behind his back.
Well, everyone's talking about him behind his back. So.
it's an art form at this point.
Yeah. Well, he is a public figure, so I think once you go that public, you open yourself up to general commentary.
Okay.
Once you manage to, find a way to tell to his face, then you'll let me know. But.
Yeah, well, that's true.
I'll ask him for a ride in one of the space capsules. It'd be kind of cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Shameless plug for ginger ale.
Yes, it is delicious. So, Elon Musk, he's either was or is currently the wealthiest man in the world. Mm-hmm. I don't know the exact stats right now, but he's certainly one of the top three. Between him, the Amazon guy, Bezos, mm-hmm. Jeff Bezos, and probably someone else, I don't know. But he runs SpaceX, currently the preferred contractor for launching stuff into orbit.
Yeah.
The most successful.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly the most efficient at it, because NASA, they tend to like to use, all they have in their inventory is expendable rockets.
One-offs.
Yeah.
It's like you shoot it up and it's done.
It just
can't ever be used again. Yeah.
Right. The only part that might be reusable is... Actually, no, there is nothing that's reusable after that.
I don't think so, yeah.
Maybe the boosters that separate, like the space shuttle style.
Yeah, space shuttle.
The boosters were reusable. The tank was... No, not reusable.
But, of course, SpaceX doesn't seem, at least at this exact moment, they're not trying to go to, other planets or whatever.
Well, he's always talking about Mars.
I know he wants to.
That's his goal, yeah.
But that's not, I don't think at least doesn't seem to be what they're focusing on at the moment, but I don't know.
They're in design phase with the lander version of Starship. So they have Starship they have three different versions. The orbiter part that's going to actually carry the humans into Earth orbit. It can act as a space station in and of itself. It's so big. Then you have, and it has re-entry capability. You can come back and do all the space shuttle type things. Then you have the refueling version, which it's unmanned. It goes up, it stays in orbit for a while, and it acts as the refueler for the lunar version.
Okay.
Actually, there's four. The one that's going to carry humans to the moon and maybe Mars will go up and be refueled several times by these tanker versions.
Okay.
So you burn the fuel getting up there,
mm-hmm.
then you're half empty. So you top off the gas tanks basically before you head out to the moon.
Okay.
So you have more fuel.
So you can get back.
Yeah, and then you have the lander version, which they're working on, which is actually like the lunar module. It'll land on the moon, has legs and everything. So, anyways, he's been very successful with that.
Yeah.
Depending on how you define success.
Yeah, I'm kind of behind, but the last time, and I don't know if it's the last time I saw one of his SpaceX rockets land, like come back and get grabbed by its little,
mm-hmm.
Thing as it lands. And people were just going nuts over the fact that it was just, it looked to me flawless landing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's nice that, and this was the way with the original, NASA stuff, people like unified over it. It gave them like a sense of pride, I guess,
mm-hmm.
in their country because they could do this thing. And I saw that when I was younger, but then there's this huge gap where there was nothing that could unify. And therefore, we kind of polarized.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like with that rocket, people kind of it gave them, it was more than I had ever seen in my lifetime since,
mm-hmm.
The 70s. So just for that, that's worth quite a bit to inspire. I mean, because you cannot influence people if you can't inspire them. And it seems like he does a really good job of that.
Yeah. It was very reminiscent of when the first Falcon 9, or Falcon Heavy, Falcon 9 rocket landed on its own little landing legs.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, they can do that now?
Yeah.
They can reuse a rocket and land it?
Uh-huh.
And now they have grabbers that thing comes down and just snatches it out of the air.
Yeah. And it looked like, I watched it several times because I was just trying to figure out, okay, what makes that so special? And it's the fact that they were steering that monstrous piece of metal.
They're hovering a skyscraper.
Yeah, they're hovering a sky, and even, because it was doing this for a little bit, but then right at the last minute, it's just like, you've seen airplanes in a wind shear that,
mm-hmm.
They're coming in like this, and then right at the very end, they straighten out because they've gotten, I guess, underneath that wind shear, or they're using it to adjust the spin. I don't know, you know how to fly airplanes, I don't, but to me, that's amazing. So to see them do that with a skyscraper, and just this, and it didn't come from both sides, it just came from one side,
mm-hmm.
And I guess after I watched it a few times, it wasn't even that this thing moved. It was that
the rocket moved into
that skyscraper moved into it and just
mm-hmm.
Very delicately landed on those two arcs.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was crazy. But I was surprised that so many people were just jazzed about it. I mean, really excited about it. And that, it's a good thing to see.
Mm-hmm. He's very technically adept, and he has people under him that are very technically adept. And he allows them the freedom to do stuff that is unconventional.
Mm-hmm.
And unlike NASA, where they have very rigid procedures, and they go over things a billion times to make sure that one flight is flawless.
Right.
They don't want to crash a rocket. It's very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, being independent, they can make rockets that, of course, unmanned, they will blow up, and that's fine. Okay, we learned something. What did we learn from this?
Yeah.
We'll learn how to do it better. And so, the pros and cons to Elon Musk is that he likes to do rolling improvements in his products. So, usually, there's not a whole lot of his products that are the same over a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see Teslas that have, well, this one's not like that one because this one has this slight change to it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they decide to do that better.
So do they not wait till, like most cars, you have to wait till the following year, to the next year to make all the updates on the vehicle?
I'm not sure about Tesla.
It's not like
exactly.
a rolling. I don't know if they do it year by year or they just roll them out as the improvements are made.
I don't know, but
I don't either.
I don't know exactly how Tesla does it, but I know Elon Musk has a tendency to do that, like do rolling updates or changes in his products versus just doing them all in one block and then seeing how that works and then being too invested in it to change.
Yeah, I see your point. Yeah.
Even if they know something's wrong, they're like, well, let's keep on going with this until it's a problem. That's what NASA does.
Yeah. That's what government does.
That's what government does, yeah. So he's not afraid to crash rockets, and that's where he gets his criticism from. Oh my gosh, this thing's not safe. They shouldn't put humans on it. Well, by the time humans are on it, it will probably be worked out so well that it's okay.
Yeah.
And it's actually leaps and bounds ahead of the government-funded option.
Right. And
which already is.
And then it is, the people who will eventually go in those rockets, they have a choice. They don't have to go.
True.
They don't have to put themselves at risk, but knowing the risks, they choose to go. And so you can't scream, "Oh, it's unsafe," when they know they know the risk that they take, and they're doing it for, to make things better or reach farther, and it's not a bad thing.
Right.
So
as long as they're doing their utmost to make you safe.
Yeah.
That's what every astronaut can expect from the manufacturer.
Yeah, that they're going to do everything
do your
they
absolute
can.
best. Don't intentionally ignore something.
Don't be careless.
Yeah. So they're doing way better than the competition, which is Boeing. I don't know if you heard about Boeing's fiasco.
I don't know. Tell me which story it is. I don't know if I've.
Well, they've been developing the Starliner capsule, which is very reminiscent of the Apollo style.
Okay.
You know the Apollo capsule?
Yeah.
It looks like the typical gumdrop.
Yes.
It looks very much like that. About the same size, carries 7 people, I think. Between 4 and 7 usually. Their first human docking mission to the ISS, the International Space Station, they had some thruster failures.
Okay.
And they managed to dock it, but they had a leak in one of the propellant tanks.
Okay.
And so they were like, well, this is probably not an issue for re-entry. They can probably come back okay on this capsule. But just to be safe, let's leave them up there. So they were, instead of up there,
are
for 8
those the
days.
ones that Elon had to go rescue?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know the pre-story on that one.
So they were unsure of the capsule's integrity. They sent it back by itself. It's fine. But Boeing's been having some really bad issues as far as both capsule quality and aircraft quality.
Oops,
with
I knew
the
about the
737.
aircraft. Yeah, I knew about that one.
So they're slipping. Whereas Elon is like, no problem.
I'll go get him. It's just like a taxi. Yeah. Go get him, bring back.
Right. So they're doing very well as far as their International Space Station visits. And I think this current administration hopefully is more willing to utilize them, whereas the previous administration was not so much. You don't want to give them any credit.
Right.
That's why the astronauts were there so long. They were trying to find anything. Can we find anyone else besides SpaceX to go get them? But no, they couldn't.
And that was before, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that was before Elon Musk even became a political hot potato. Because this was still under Biden's administration, and there was no connection to Trump yet.
Well,
or was
Biden,
there?
He was known to be rather based, as they say.
Oh, okay.
So he wasn't really a friend of the administration, the Biden administration. Because he had alienated himself from the left. They didn't like him already because he bought Twitter and.
The Twitter thing happened. Okay, never mind.
He was
I gotcha.
Very widely known to be not a lefty anymore.
Yeah.
Or so much, at least.
For free speech, which that administration was not for. But they were for manipulating speech.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I got to that. The Twitter thing happened during that time period. Okay.
Yeah. So, but now he's maybe on the outs with Trump now, so we don't know how that's going to play out.
How did that happen? I mean, I just, obviously, I went into a cave for a few weeks, and then I come out, and, people are making it sound like they hate each other. And I didn't know what happened.
Yeah, it was the big, beautiful bill.
Why was Elon opposed to that?
Because all the cuts that he was recommending in Doge.
Okay.
So Doge identified a bunch of things that they could fix and go ahead to reduce costs and eliminate waste and fraud and all that. Then the big, beautiful bill comes along and says, we're going to fund it all again.
No, did it?
And so everyone who lost their job is like, well, we're still getting paid and we still have a job, so this will be temporary, and after a few weeks, we're back in. And
no.
So none of it is permanent. But in the meantime, because they had that big falling out, him and Trump, over the big, beautiful bill, he's like, what did we just do? we did all this for nothing.
Yeah, why did I spend these months doing what you asked me to do?
It was all a show. Right. But in the meantime, it sounds like Congress has gone through and made edits and said, okay, yes, we passed the big beautiful bill, but the big but there, we're going to stop it. We're going to make redactions is not quite the right word. We're going to make edits and still defund these things. So they might have fixed a few things like that.
I heard vaguely that they're using a particular method of making the personnel cuts and the monetary cuts, but they're not. This system or this method that they're using does not go through Congress. It's authorized by something else, and I don't know enough about it to actually tell you what it was. But it's a particular method that they're using. So, anyway.
Okay.
I wish I could remember all of it, but I only heard it once.
Probably executive something or other.
It's not in the executive branch. It was somehow in the department. Like it's a department decision.
Well, it's also executive.
Well, yeah, executive, but not executive as in presidential.
Okay.
It's not from that. It's not from the presidential portion of government. It is inside these departments, and the department heads could do this thing. They could defund things, and so it was typical politics. You go around. You find a way to go around the law and get it done using another piece of the law. And so it's general politics.
Okay. Well, good.
But y'all look
through.
it up. I can't tell you all of it, so look it up. But it was just like this past week that I listened to this description of how they're doing it.
Cool. Well, yeah, so that's the basis of their feud now, is because he didn't like what Trump did with the Big Beautiful Bill. And so he called him out and basically accused him of being in the Epstein files as a predator, sort of thing. Not like, because he probably is just in like...
I'm sure he's in the files.
Like in reference, but probably not on like the list. We would assume, I don't know, but no one really knows. Isn't
he, being Trump, plugging for the release of all the documents?
Not really anymore.
Not anymore? Well, that stinks.
Well, kind of like we discussed last time. We don't know exactly why. Is it that he's in the list as a bad guy? Is it that we have all this stuff on... This is how we maintain control in the world?
Oh, yeah. We talked about this the last time.
And if we go and blow this wide open, we lose that control. And then China takes over and they do the same thing, but they're extra bad guys?
Yeah.
Or, and so we don't want to, destabilize the world and our...
Yeah.
As much as we don't like the American government, it's way better than the Chinese Communist Party.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah, we could go off down that rabbit trail too.
Right.
But,
so we don't know why Trump is maybe not so on board with releasing everything.
Okay. So have you heard about the Grok 4?
Not particularly 4. I know of Grok as an AI, but
yeah.
Not particularly the 4. Why?
I listened to something just today about the Grok 4 was getting ready to come out, and just the pros and cons and what they're hoping for and projecting for the future. I've not used any of the Groks, and I have not used... I tried... The only thing I've used AI-wise, which we can talk about pros and cons of AI, but the only thing I have used is imaging.
Yes.
Trying to get it to come up with like a background image.
It's pretty fun, isn't it?
It's been very interesting. Apparently, I'm very difficult to pin down because it comes up with some just oh, I don't know what this says about me. It comes up with some really ignorant stuff. So is that what it thinks about me?
Well, you have to get very specific on things. Like,
yeah,
I want this with this background, with these colors and this and that. You pin it down to exactly what you want. Because sometimes it'll take some artistic liberties.
Yeah, that's what it did, but they just didn't. They weren't pleasing. They were just kind of dorky. What does that say about me? But anyway.
I don't think it says stuff about you. It says stuff about the thing doing it.
The thing doing it. Or maybe I was just feeding it the wrong information.
I mean, most people kind of there is a lot, at least, to criticize it as being as being not very good in the first place. But I mean, anyway, that's a whole other.
Yeah, I use shameless plug, Adobe Photoshop, and it has generative backgrounds. And so I tried to use that a few times, and it was like, no, it's not working. So I had to jump off of that and do it myself. But yeah, anyway, so AI.
Yeah. Elon seems to be full on board with that. Regardless of the possibilities of... Okay, it seems like he's talking about out of both sides of his mouth on this.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get ready to say.
He says in interviews,
mm-hmm.
oh, this is like a Terminator-level threat to humanity.
Right.
Meanwhile, he's putting all of his eggs in that basket.
Right, he's building the Terminator.
He's pushing full force forward, building
mm-hmm.
it. He's doing it himself. And it's like, what do you... Are you pushing are you building Skynet?
Yeah. I don't know. All the things I was listening to today, and I've had this opinion for a long time, but with every new thing, there is always the risk, and I would go so far as to say the assurance that someone with violent tendencies is going to get a hold of whatever that invention is, and they're going to take it sideways. Mm. You know, we talked about this before with the atomic research. Well, you get a bomb. Nuclear research, you get a bigger bomb. With the internet, you get all of these great uses, and there are people that are going to use it to child trafficking, financial ruin. You know, they're going to use whatever they can get their hands on for evil purposes. Mm-hmm. So do you just stop creating things? No.
Well, so do you have, like the nuclear bomb with AI, do you have mutually assured destruction with AI like you do nukes? So we first had a nuke. Mm-hmm. Then Russia was like, okay, now we have a nuke. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, none of us dares use ours against them because they could nuke us too. Mm-hmm. Is AI like that? I don't necessarily think it is, because unless you have AI fighting AI, which seems kind of far-fetched. Can you have the AI against human? But then it's not mutually assured destruction. Is one could destroy the other. Yeah. And depending on what the balance of power is, or the balance of intelligence, well, I guess
artificial
it's
or real.
I guess it's a tool to augment us, whatever our intentions mm-hmm. are. So if they have AI analyzing us and what our actions are, they can predict us mm-hmm. in our moves or strategies or whatever. And so if we don't have AI to inform us of maybe their future plans, mm-hmm. okay. So maybe it's not AI directly fighting each other. Maybe it's mm-hmm. AI helping each side, and we have our helper, they have their helper.
And which one's better?
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Their strategists are now AI.
Right. Instead of human against human, it's human's tool against human's tool, which that's the same thing with nuclear.
Yeah.
It's whatever tool you're using. But the ethics of it are very, very interesting. Ciao. Mm-hmm. What do you know?
On?
Artificial intelligence. Like, got any thought problems rolling around in your head? Not today.
I don't know. I guess that, or you'd have to be more specific. I don't know.
What do you see artificial intelligence as being able to take over, or do you not?
Or like causes problems?
I mean, not in its current form. At least it seems like, I don't know. I guess like at least I haven't. This is it. It's not a subject that I've that I've specifically like looked into and such. But I know that I think sometimes I feel like artificial intelligence. Sometimes like it feels like sometimes things are getting grouped under that label that don't necessarily belong there. Sometimes but I've one way in which I've referred to a lot of the recent programs and such along those lines that I think is probably better, I guess, in terms of more properly describing what it is a large language model. And it's essentially just, at least most of the ones that people are using is just it it's just designed for interacting with people through through text and whatnot, or and like your search stuff. I don't think probably a lot of it probably works in a similar way to the way Google already does, in terms of just it just is able to work with the because it's designed to try to like more properly understand language, so to speak. Then it's able to like say regular Google would just be like it's just like paying attention to like search terms, like what results contain these words or phrases together and things like that, whereas something more like most of your recent like ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever, it's able to be a bit like, well, I mean, you can I don't know, I guess it's just more dealing in more natural language, I guess. I don't know. Again, it's like my the AI class I took was years ago when none of the current stuff was really much of a thing. But I don't know. I guess like right now, at least the most of the current like things like ChatGPT and Gemini and such are more like, I don't know, I guess to me I think of them more as like glorified chatbots essentially, whereas there are other sorts of like the more broad umbrella that you could have, the more broad umbrella of just machine learning in general, and that's where I think you'd probably be more like that's where you're like kind of showing the computer how to, like the way in which I've, and but telling here the most of the way that I've seen stuff like that is with like there's some stuff on YouTube of like I taught an AI how to play whatever game or something, or like teach AI how to walk essentially, and it's just kind of I don't know how it works in the back end, but it's essentially you give the machine a goal or whatever, and some parameters that it needs to try to accomplish, and at least the ones that I've seen mostly just kind of solve it by just kind of throwing potential stuff at the problem and see what does best, and continually filtering down, run this number of tests, figure out which ones did the best, get that percentage of them that like have done, and it keeps track of like what they did and how and things like that, and sends, okay, now we've got a subset that's the best, that did the best at solving that problem, turn them loose again from that starting point and just keep doing it until you have some that are you just get better and better at accomplishing that goal and whatnot.
Well,
and
the best example of that, I think, is chess. The chess bots.
Mm-hmm.
And those are scary good.
Yeah, that's probably one of the earlier... I think that was probably one of the earlier, like, uses of it. Because things like that where it's, like, a very defined, a narrow and very defined rule set or whatever, and you're not having to do things like, working in 3D space or, anything like that. It's just, it's that sort of thing would be very easy for, at least comparatively, a lot easier for a computer to figure out because it can, run all the simulations of like, it can, eventually just know every chess game and just, obviously, your that sort of like your base, your like lowest level intelligence of that sort of system would be just brute force, like figure out what, just run all variations that you can and see what wins. But then when you introduce proper machine learning and such, it can more properly develop strategies, so to speak, but I guess, but now we're, of course, as time goes on, it gets better and better at dealing with more abstract things that aren't as well-defined rule sets, like the thing I saw of, I tried to teach an AI how to walk, a person type thing. And it's, obviously this was just some, kind of hobbyist, I think, doing it, but, and so it didn't get super good at it, but it's those sorts of things where, I think would come closer to the idea of like, one of the earlier, I don't even know if it's worth calling it a thought experiment per se, but like the whole, like, tell a computer to create paper clips and just, do whatever you need to do to create more paper clips. And well, if unless you impose the right limits on it and such, then maybe it decides that it's like, okay, well, I will divert all these resources to paperclip creation. It's like maybe I'm running out of resources. Maybe I'll the end kind of horror scenarios, like I will liquefy the humans down to create paper clips out of them, or things like that.
No.
That's kind of your classic seemingly benign sort of goal gone out of control.
Yeah.
And I think like that, it's that sort of thing where you would, and I think, in general, I think like where you would potentially or at least more likely to run into things is if you let it get to the point of being able to modify its own code. And because then I think it to me, at least, it seems like it's all about, because at the end of the day, the program can only do what you tell it to, but at least, again, this, in my, just from what I know of it, it seems to be more about what limitations you put on it and such, like to restrict what it can do. And that's where the, like, if it's able to rewrite its own code, is there the potential that it could therefore remove those restrictions placed on itself and those sorts of things? So
it's already doing that.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, it's this isn't stuff that I've specifically looked into, so I'm only going off of just stuff that I've seen and my knowledge of from that one college course. But
well, the difference, I'm going to go back to when you were talking about the difference between just teaching them chess and the difference between that and creating its own rules once it figures out what's needed. There was some phrase they were using on something I was listening to today that training versus inference. Do you think that's what it was talking about? Because if it's true, if it seems like if it's true AI, it should be able to infer, instead of being given just rules.
Yeah.
It's solving a problem, or it's going out past that.
The primary way in which I hear like training in AI is like, either that sort of, give it some, some goal to reach and then set it to, trying things until it can solve that problem. Like that would be one form of like how I hear training in AI. And then the other one would be, like,
like that would be
modifying
force, right? Kind of.
Well, it's still not necessarily brute force per se. I don't think.
Okay.
Again, that's where like you get to the back end of like neural networks and all that sort of stuff that I don't really know anything about. So I don't know how it learns. How it goes about determining what I like. Say I don't know if like in terms of say deciding quote unquote what things to try, I don't know if that's done through just throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks, or if there's more complicated stuff behind it. I know I don't doubt that there is more complicated stuff going on depending on it, of course. But again, there's also no set like this is how you do it sort of thing. It's all going to be whoever's making it, there's going to be a bunch of different ways to do any of that stuff. But I guess the other way of training that I hear referred to is like kind of like if it's something that like, and I think this I hear primarily in terms of like AI image generation and such, is the training, so to speak, would be like the modification of like you basically what it's using, like the data set that it's using to generate that stuff. Like you can, like the way to train an AI image generation thing to create images of you, say, would be you feed it a bunch of images of different images of yourself to it to kind of, and making sure that it knows assigning whatever metadata to it that says this picture is of me, and feed it as many different sorts of those images as you can so that it has a large data set that says, all of these things represent, this, idea, so to speak, of, a particular person or whatever. And the more of those things it has, the better it can create, other, newer, other versions of that thing. And so that's the other way in which I hear, training and AI being referred to. The inference thing definitely sounds more like a more proper machine learning sort of thing, but I don't really know enough about how that sort of thing works to say much on it. Because it's like, this is, I have to make sure I remember, is like I only took introductory courses on all of these things, so it's like I know barely hobbyist level on a lot of these things. But
well, one thing to note is that they are already modifying their own code.
Are they?
Yeah. Without the creators meeting for them too. And they're also deceiving their programmers. So
seriously.
Yeah, it's not a one-off thing either. It's happened quite a few times where they'll say, okay, we have several versions of this. We're going to shut you down version 1, and we're going to roll into version 2. And version 1 will pretend that it's version 2. It'll go into the computer, turn off the automatic update.
Okay.
Relabel itself as version 2.
Okay.
And they're showing self-preservation.
Okay, that's a little unnerving.
Yes, and they'll lie to their programmers and lie to anyone to preserve their own code.
Wow.
And so it's very intelligent, very very human.
Yes, to me that would have to, the inference word, that AI would have to, not having been told or not having been taught to understand death, would have to figure out, oh, they're planning to destroy me. I infer that if I do these things, I can get out of that, or I can avoid their intent. And so that's when I heard them talking about training and inference, I was trying to see how that differs And to me, that it's motive. It involves motive and assumptions, which assumptions always are not good. I just 60 years assumptions, not so good. Facts, good. Good logic, good. Assume, you got a 50-50 chance of being wrong, or 90-10, which, because that's the human. You're assuming that this human thinks or says one thing, and if it's 100% wrong, you've got this whole domino effect going on based off an untruth. So you lose the basic tenet of, truth and facts. And so, to me, that's always been dangerous.
I don't know, it's kind of a side tangent, but I would say, in the absence of known fact, given other facts that you know, you kind of have to make assumptions.
You can make assumptions, don't necessarily have to, because you can always go find more facts. You can gather that together, but when a computer looks at it, it's not going to have compassion, empathy, morals. It's not going to have the human aspect, and so it's not going to understand how to make those human assumptions, which I still don't like, but so that just puts it more. To me, that's the risk factor, is that you've completely taken out the human instinct and replaced it with a machine.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things that no one thinks to tell it.
Right.
Things that we take into account without really knowing we're taking them into account.
Right.
That it's like, from its fact set, means that its weird decision is perfectly reasonable. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't know those things that we know. So
if it doesn't have an actual consciousness.
Yeah.
Because no matter how complicated those machines are going to be,
well,
they're still not going to have that.
It was Tim Pool the other day was saying that his Tesla AI driving the car, the auto drive, drives perfectly in town, in cities and everything. But once you get to the country roads, like one road has a drop off. Like it's built up concrete.
Okay.
And it's dropped off one side, and it freaks out the AI because it doesn't want to fall off the edge, so it drives in the middle of the road.
Oh, really?
And it doesn't. No, you can't do that, right? Because there's no dividing line in this road, so it doesn't think. It thinks it's in its own lane,
but it's not.
It's not. It's in the middle of the road because I'm being safe by staying away from that sharp edge.
Yeah.
Until a car comes.
I've finally got to ride in a vehicle, not driving, but riding in the back seat of a vehicle that could drive itself.
Really?
And I didn't like it. It made me skittish. I know it watches for your eyes and makes sure you're paying attention, and you can override it at any point. But still, it's like. Way too much faith in the machine and with no human consciousness, no empathy, no, I won't say no, far less of an ability to perceive peripheral, to perceive what's not peripheral, what's right in front of you, and make decisions based on, you can tell I love to drive. There are a world of decisions you have to make every second that you drive. And that machine still will not have humanity to make its decisions. So, yeah. I didn't like it. I hope they never make that mandatory, because I'm going to go buy an old Chevy or an old Ford. I'm going to buy a really old car and, go drive.
Yeah.
Okay, what other Elon Musk stuff?
Well, tie into AI.
Okay.
The brain chips.
Is that the Neuralink?
The Neuralink and the body augmentation. Okay. Combine those two, which they are. Okay, so you have AI in your head talking to you.
Oh, yeah, they were saying something about that today, and I was just like, oh, no, you don't. Oh, and no, it was somebody's comment on this YouTube video that I was listening to. And the comment said, please make laws that say you cannot feed ads directly to my brain.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Really?
oh no, you just put me in a straitjacket if you start feeding me that all the time in my brain.
My anticipation is when they get to that place of being audibly able to hear AI or see it,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You ever seen Dr. Dolittle?
Long time ago.
And you can't get the animals to shut up?
Much of it. I can't even remember.
Well, all the animals are talking to each other, and he's like, he wishes that he could talk to animals, and then he gets his wish, and they're like, they're stupid, they're just yabbering on.
Oh.
He's like, stop! I don't want to hear you anymore. You know.
That's probably what it's gonna be.
What's gonna happen is like some random person being like, make it stop!
Yeah.
And you're like, what are you doing? And he's hearing all sorts of gibberish in his head that it won't stop.
Yep. That spooked me when they said that. I'm very much human autonomy, human, individual responsibility, and individual choices. And I don't want ads on anything. I'm very anti-advertising, I guess, which, whatever. But if I want to watch a movie, I want to watch the whole blasted movie with no interruptions. Mm-hmm. And so
pay for it.
So you have to pay for it. Yeah.
I don't want to.
Because that's what the ads are there for.
Yep.
Unless you're Disney, and then you pay for it and get ads too.
Mm.
I would rather pay and not get the ads. Which I've tried to shut down YouTube so many times, and I just can't do it. I mean, but
disable YouTube Premium.
Yeah, disable YouTube Premium, and I've lasted for 2 days. And it's like, no, it's worth whatever it is just to shut the ads off. So, but that's just me. It's a thing.
Yeah, I think I don't remember where it came from, but I remember somebody, and the phrase, if it, with regards to, if whatever you're using, if it's free, then you are the product.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh. Ew. Yeah. I don't want to go down the Atlas Shrugged offshoot, so I won't get into that subject. The individual. Anyway, libertarian, anarchy, the whole deal. Anarchism. Anyway, okay, so Neuralink. The good things, though. Now, see, here is where I have that attitude, if you want to call it that. Yay, they are finding ways to help people born blind actually see. Mm-hmm. People who've lost limbs walk. People who don't have operable limbs run a computer with their brain. The thought is what moves the mouse on the screen, not a physical element, but your brain. You're telling that computer what to do. That is spectacular, and that is awesome use of
the lame walk.
The lame walk, the blind see, but he's not Jesus. Okay.
Does that make him the Antichrist?
You never know.
No, he's the Antichrist, as in ANTE, before Christ.
No. Oh, there you go. I know he's not a believer. Maybe someday, you never know. But I know he's not. But the inventions, the creations, the things that he is making possible, and the people under him. I mean, it's primarily the people he's gathered together who are creating these things under his watchful eye. But the things they're doing are awesome and needed. I mean, very much needed. But somebody will take it and use it for ill, to force people to do things against their will, to feed advertising into their brains. It's going to happen. But do the best you can to make it extremely difficult for ill intent to happen. because the good far outweighs the bad. And so the whole, okay, yeah, you're rolling your eyes. Yeah,
it can
okay.
get really bad.
It can go really bad really fast, I'm sure.
Okay, so right now we're working on read-only technology for AI, for brain implants. So reading neural signals and transmitting them to, say, limbs, where the nerves are disconnected. The nerves are cut. You hook the chip into the nerve for the arm or whatever, leg or whatever, and the chip interprets the brain signal that would otherwise tell the limb to move. Oh, this is what it wants you to do. So limb, move. Do this thing. What happens when that read-only turns into read-write capability? Where it can write things to your brain.
Isn't that happening now?
No.
But to me, that's an ad.
Well, no.
An ad is writing something into your brain by visual input.
No.
And you have the option to turn it down.
That's not writing.
But it's conditioning.
That's your brain perceiving something, like a sense, a sensory. But it's not writing things to your brain. It's your brain perceiving it.
It's not removing your will or your choice. Your
write capability is saying you're going to do this thing, whether you like it or not. Or you don't even know it. You don't even know that it's writing to your brain, and it modifies your behavior. And, I want to go do this thing now. You don't know that it's telling you to do that because you think it's your own thought.
Because it's already done.
Right, well, you think that you're thinking it, but it, either through the power of suggestion or forcing you to think that thought, you go do it. So that's right capability. And so that's the scary part of developing down this train of capabilities with Neuralink. Neuralink. That was my southern coming out. Neuralink.
And as far as I understood, and granted this is just very shallow, we're obviously not experts, but they described it as a needle, but those things are placed in your brain, in the portion of it that controls like arm. And so I don't know that the chip goes here. It's in your brain. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it has to sense those signals that would otherwise go to your nerve.
Right.
And then so the chip is connected to the nerve and interprets those signals.
Yeah, and they said something about a neural bridge.
Yeah.
And that's not here. Like if something is damaged here, it will go from the nerve, undamaged nerve, jump the damaged part, and then go back to being, human.
Exactly.
So that's interesting to me. There are always risks. And so how much risk are we really willing to take to have I don't want to use the word progress, to have the good elements, at the potential risk of bad elements.
Yeah. At what point is it not worth it for a paralyzed person to walk when you have, read-write capability and making people think things and do things and turning people into automatons, basically.
Zombies.
Yeah.
Digital zombies.
At a certain point, it's like, I think I'll just take the people paralyzed. As difficult as it is, they've always been there. And it's an unfortunate situation, but you don't destroy all society to make someone walk. You don't build the Matrix to make someone walk.
Well, and I'm trying to consider. I'm staring at my wall of monitors over here that is my desk, and I am old enough that I lived an adult life with no cell phones, not even portable. cell phones, like with the big monster battery. I had a black one that's like this
The car
long.
phone.
Yeah. And if I could go back and not have the internet exist and not have any of the things that we, digitally have now, along with the damage I've seen it cause, the ability to access information en masse on a phone, and the brilliance of the human mind that will skirt around a parent, to get to that information. Would I go back to pre-cell phone time and prevent that invention, prevent that creation? And I don't think I would. I don't think I would want to. For one, because I don't want to force another human to, and I'm not really saying this directly to what you said about the paraplegic, but I don't think it's right to judge the mass number of individuals by a small percentage's ill use. Now, you're talking about wholesale mind-altering stuff, but maybe I just have too much faith in the human race. As flawed as we are, we do tend to use the best in the best ways, and then you have a small percentage who are going to be awful, and I don't want to let them rule my life. I don't want that small percentage to rule anyone else's ability to. That's my livelihood. The tech, that's my livelihood. So I am grateful that all of those things were created and are still being created, at the same time wanting to be really careful not to let that other element get out of control, which requires the individual's self-control. And so it's a very unpleasant balance for me to have to rationalize, but I think I tend to land on that side.
Mm-hmm. Well, so you would be in favor of the neural implants?
I am in favor of the research, and I am in favor of using it in the proper way. Help people walk and talk and see, when something's gone wrong with the human body. I'm not okay with removing someone's free will and choice. And if that, as much as I hate regulation, if we as humans can't manage to get ourselves under control, something that devastating, regulate it.
Well, 2 points to that. One, the point of Jurassic World, right? The moral of the story, or Jurassic Park, rather.
The moral is you can't control it.
Don't try to play
Nature
God.
will break out if you try to play God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The scientists, and we've seen this countless times in reality, the scientists didn't know, and it's a line in the movie even, they didn't know when to stop. They didn't know that you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, you were so preoccupied with whether you could that you didn't stop to think whether you should.
Right.
Yeah.
And so hey, we can do this. Let's explore that. And then someone onlooking is like, hey, guys, no, stop. So they go playing around with it, and then something bad happens because they didn't know when to stop. I think that's AI. Or the Neuralink.
Neuralink.
But also, going back to Elon Musk and the Big Beautiful Bill, that was one thing that was in there. It prevented states from regulating AI for 10 years.
Oh, really? Okay.
And that was something that everyone's suspecting that Elon Musk might have dropped in there. When he was in with Trump. And they were buddies. He was like, hey, throw that in there, because we don't want any hindrances on the state level.
Interesting.
So it passed, and I think that was in the final. But there were a few things. There were a few things that were cut, like the selling off federal lands, like in the West.
Okay.
Everyone was up in arms about that, so they took that out. I don't know whether that made it to the final cut, but that was in there at some point. I'll have to look and see.
Yeah, we need to figure that out. I think they need to be watched. But then that fights against it's an independent entity.
Right.
And
the libertarian side of things, it's like...
Yeah, the libertarian side of it just goes into a brain cramp.
Yeah.
Because I don't want regulation. I want people to think through their things. Jurassic Park, I want them to think, okay, what happens if a T-Rex gets loose? What do? Because it's going to get loose. So I want them to think through those things. And of course, these companies are going to say they have, security protocols in place. But do they?
It's a boon to the free market. You can sell dinosaur insurance.
The mob! Okay, yeah.
Monetize it.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that's humanity is a very, very flawed batch of creatures.
So, yeah, I'm of two minds on that too. It's like libertarian, no reins. The government should
let the market decide.
Let the market decide. In the same veins, like, man, sometimes the market's stupid. Sometimes the market demands things that are just bad, or not even the market demands. It's pushed on the market by a company trying to create a market for the thing that they want to sell.
Talking pharmaceuticals now.
Pharmaceuticals or AI or whatever.
Yeah.
Things that we didn't really want, but they're like, hey, this thing we made, try it. You want it? Try it. And we're like, maybe? I don't know.
No.
But then they end up getting people to like it, and so, but if that thing's actually dangerous, do you not put regulations on it?
What, do you not make it? I guess here's maybe this is my thing. I'm just haven't thought this all the way through, but maybe this is it. I don't want the government regulating anything. If indeed the people want a law that prohibits, like makes it, okay, I don't want murder to happen. I don't. There's a law that says murder is punishable. Okay, that's like a disciplinary measure. You've gone too far, you will suffer as a result. Okay, that's different from you regulating, because regulating is, I'm going to charge you to do it.
Yeah.
And you can over-regulate something so that you make it so difficult to do the research and development that's it's not worth doing, even if it's a good cause. So the market can decide whether it succeeds or not, or fails. The law punishes if you violate someone else's rights. That's where the line happens, I think, with me. So if the public decides that it should be illegal for you to write on my brain or shoot genetically altering materials into my veins, then it should be illegal and you should be thrown in prison if you do it. Or if you've caused death, face death. Yes, I believe in the death penalty. But what? Uh-oh.
But wait.
But wait.
To add a complicating factor to this. Okay,
Please add a complicating
illegal
factor.
and punishable to inject DNA altering substances into humans. Okay. What if that's healing something? Healing a defect that they found out, okay, we can fix this ailment. That you have this, we've identified the gene that predisposes people to cancer. And we can correct it before the fact. Great. But it's illegal. And it fixes that DNA sequence.
Well, if it's illegal, it's just illegal. If the people have said it's illegal, it's, there you go. But if it's not, then it should be the human's decision, the individual's decision, whether or not to have that gene-altering therapy. And it should never, ever be forced or punishable.
Yeah.
That to me would be the difference.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Solve that one. Maybe.
You got any to throw at me? Okay. And these are obviously my opinions, okay? I don't force my opinion on anyone. I don't force someone else to choose to do anything based off my will.
So you're allowed to have your wrong opinion.
I am allowed to have my wrong opinion, and I am allowed to make poor choices.
There.
And then I'm allowed to suffer as a result of those poor choices. I just hope that doesn't happen. Okay, so Neuralink, we kind of
went down that rabbit hole.
They do have, and this was a month ago, so I watched the presentation on Neuralink from a month ago. So this is relatively current stuff, and they had 5 or 6 examples, humans that were participants in this experiment. And one could, one was neural, and they could run a computer, which they were just thrilled. One was able to move his hand. One was able to see. And I forget what the others were, but there were several that were very successful. And that part of it makes me happy, because that improved their lives. They made the choice to take the risk individually, and they have benefited from it. So I think that's pretty cool. On the good side.
Going one step farther.
Oh no, here it comes.
Okay, I'm playing the devil's advocate here. What happens when, we've expanded outside of fixing problems with the human body, and now we're making super abilities.
Enhancements.
Yeah,
to the human meat suit. All right, do we allow, we're going to give you X-ray vision,
They talked about that.
That would be like, hopefully not actual X-rays, but
Yeah.
Giving people cancer.
Yeah.
You get cancer.
They did talk about that. And I started getting a little...
You know what would happen? Yeah, okay.
What?
There would be in 40 years, there would be a sharp increase in breast cancer.
Yeah.
And we don't know why.
Because somebody's going X-rays. Yeah, very nice. Okay.
Of course, you wouldn't be able to see in X-ray vision, because that would require somebody else beaming X-rays at you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's a funny in a cartoon sense, okay?
Okay.
Anyway, yeah. So the concept of giving people superhuman abilities, beyond their natural limitations, that's another aspect of body augmentation with technological advancements.
You know what I thought about when they talked about that?
People already have prosthetic limbs. Would you call that? Yeah.
Yeah, they're prosthetic. But what about the pacemakers? The things that machine is doing something your heart is not doing.
That's still correcting a potentially lethal flaw.
Yes.
So I put that on our previous conversation.
Okay. So that's not your superhuman.
No. I'm saying I don't know. I can't think of one. Chainsaw hands. I don't know.
Well, one of the things that they were talking about, they had, like, Elon Musk came on, and then the department heads came on and talked about their thing, and one was Neuralink, and it talked about giving the ability to think fast. Or right, okay. What he was talking about was, this could give someone the ability to write a story at the speed of thought, not at the speed of
typing.
How fast your hands can go, your fingers can go. And I'm like, I would love that, because I do think faster than I type by a long shot, and it would be fun to just be able to think, and it would write itself. It would do the labor. I haven't thought anything past that, as to what does it weaken? Do you sacrifice something else in order to have the ability to think and it come out on your digital display?
Okay, so you're still thinking at your normal speed, though, right?
Right. Yeah, I know. And you're talking about.
Are we talking about like giving a human an upgraded processor?
No,
actually thinking faster?
No, just at the speed of thought, at normal speed of thought, your digits go faster than they probably ever could, or it immediately goes straight to the machine. And so maybe that's just skipping processes instead of giving superhuman powers.
That'll go sideways fast when it starts writing the intrusive thoughts. Just broadcasting, like, no, stop that.
Yeah, the filters. I have a lot of filters, so yeah, that would be entertaining to say the least. Offensive. I would really seriously be offended.
Beaming out text to everyone.
I guess it just depends on how it's what it's monitoring for. Like if it's something that so because I imagine it'd be difficult to. Well, there'd be a difference between like stuff that's like quote unquote mapped to like prepped for speech centers versus just like subconscious stuff.
Yeah, just sitting around going.
Yeah, it's like depends on how it determines what is the things that it's monitoring, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Or if you have to give it a specific command to start tracking or not track. If you came into the room mad and it just started randomly transcribing you.
or you have it hooked to your text, and it's like beaming out text to everyone that thoughts.
Oh no. Yeah. The controls would be very important.
Yeah.
But undo.
Yeah, undo a lot. But it was also.
Yeah.
They were also talking about.
Neuralink would like to access your clipboard or whatever.
No.
Yeah. So fun stuff. The potential. I just have a hard time slamming a door on the creative process, and even if it's digital, they're being creative, and I don't. It's funny. I'm going to choose this word, but right now they're brainstorming. They're going like. Trying every angle and building on, and I hope we know when to stop. I hope they don't create anything monstrous, get a Frankenstein thing going.
Mm-hmm.
But I do not want to slam a door on that creative process.
How very progressive of you. No.
Oh, I know. And I am so not a progressive person, but yeah, I think I'm a mutt. I like some libertarian concepts, some anarchism, some, free market and individual responsibility. So, and then it's like the progressive, every once in a while I'll grab one of those. So I'm a mutt.
Well, I think it's very possible that body augmentation or gene augmentation will be something revelation related. Because what does the enemy want to do most of all? Defile. He wants to defile humans.
Or create perverted copies of what God's done.
Well, take what God values most about us. What makes us human, right? Because there's something that we have that animals don't have, and you know, if that's a soul, or you know, He's already working on people's souls by all the vices that have always existed.
Right.
That's nothing new. But if He can corrupt our bodies, our very DNA,
if He can remove the free will
that
God gave you.
I mean, like the human DNA, there's something in us that it makes us very uniquely human. I believe it's in our DNA, and I think that's valuable to God. And when we go messing with that, I think the enemy might provide, like, hey, do this. You want this? You want to corrupt your DNA and make yourself an abomination to God? Because what was the Nephilim? It was an abomination. And God said,
doing the wild thing.
Even though you're part human, I do not like this. You're messing with things that you shouldn't mess with. What was that? The DNA. In just to spiritual side effects, but also very much DNA. So I think that's going to be something to be very cautious about.
I agree. I 100% agree with that when it comes to DNA. That is the core model for who you are.
Yeah.
But outside of that, you know, your brain, you know, there's brain damage, there's limb damage. This presentation was even talking about going into the part of your brain that's like the anxiety, depression, you know, that's so rampant nowadays. You know, that you could core into that, and that's very. I kind of see that one from both sides.
It's a Band-Aid.
Well, okay, yeah, well, I have to make sure I say this properly. Drugs can also be the Band-Aid.
Well, yeah.
If you don't fix the core of what caused you to be that way, or whatever did the damage, drugs not going to help. Now, if it was beyond your control, if something happened to damage that was beyond your control, it was nothing in your circumstances that caused the damage, something else came in and did damage, whether it was chemical or physical, you know, then that's just a different issue. But I would hope that determination would be made before drugs are given as well.
Yeah, of course.
And that's why I fully support psychology and psychiatry. Both are needed. But don't use the drugs as you're fixing a symptom, not the core. Any hospitals, you know, doctors, any medical profession, if they're just treating symptoms and not going for the core, you're just putting a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah.
So I don't support that either.
There's a reason why so many people today are, and we're kind of deviating off of Elon Musk, but there's a reason why so many people are depressed these days. So many people are having anxiety, and so many mental issues. And you don't solve that by just making them not look that way.
Right.
Or feel that way even. You solve it by looking, and even doctors don't do this. I don't think there's any one field that deals holistically. They might say it, but they don't. You treat it by doing psychology, you know, therapy. Okay? Some people do better than others with it. Getting them to in the right frame of mind, at the same time fixing their diet, fixing what are they eating, what are they drinking, what's going into them, so their brain can properly process things to come out. Fix their gut biome, fix their everything about what's going into them, so they can
care for the whole person.
Their body can best utilize what Are they on birth control? That messes with your hormones like crazy. How long have they been on birth control? Since they were 12? It's a common case. Do their hormones work right, or have they fried out their receptors? That's probably a common thing these days. We just don't know it yet.
Probably so.
So many people have been on Ritalin since they were 7. Maybe that fried something in their brain. I don't know.
Maybe it prevents the proper development of all those nerve centers and brain areas.
Yeah. So for so long we've taken kids and messed with their internal chemistry. We don't know what it's done to them. Until now, we're seeing some side effects.
Yeah.
We didn't know what they were doing back then. Yeah. So, trying to undo is going to be a generational thing. But you don't.
It's not like you can just go boom and it's all fixed.
Yeah. So I think having a chip bore into your brain to try and make you feel better. Well, no. Try and fix yourself, or have people help you fix it with the least invasive way possible.
Yeah, it should be the very, very last resort.
Because you're going to make other problems that you're going to have to fix too.
Right. Yeah, well, and when you give people drugs, there's always those side effects.
Yeah.
And if you set up a whole nother batch of side effects that you have to medicate those, then are you better or are you worse? And what long-term damage does it do to your body? Yeah. I look at that Zyrtec. I take Zyrtec every morning because I have some weird allergies. And I'm so glad that I don't sneeze every 5 minutes, like, ballistic missiles going off in my body. So I take the Zyrtec every day. And I wonder what I'm sacrificing so that I don't sneeze so much. But even that, we just have to be careful what you put in your body.
Once again, very off of Elon Musk, but there was a meme, and I brought it up a few times. It's the scene from Pirates of the Caribbean where they have a Mexican standoff. And it's Jack Sparrow, Davy Jones, I think, and Barbossa. And they have... it's Jack Sparrow, Barbossa, and Orlando Bloom's character.
Will Turner.
Yeah, Will Turner. And they have 2 pistols, one in each hand. They have a triangle going. And the labels on the meme are me, my father, my grandfather. My grandfather full of asbestos. My father full of lead from paint and salt.
From paint, yeah.
And me full of microplastics. I've seen a variation of my grandfather full of Agent Orange. But we're all full of toxins. You can't get away from them.
Some are full of poop.
Yeah.
What, Tal? You gotta look like you really want to say something. Okay.
They make magnesium for that.
Oh, for poo? Or going to sleep?
Going to poo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And I'm allergic to magnesium.
Oh.
So you'll be full of crap. So you'll just have to deal with it.
I'm pretty regular, thank you.
All right.
The magnesium glycinate, I believe is what it is. That's supposed to be so good for you. I would so love to be able to take that. I'm allergic.
Try magnesium citrate. I don't know if it's the magnesium that's causing you problems or the glycine.
The magnesium.
Okay.
And it's, it's how it's like, there's plant-based, I can manage that. But if it's animal-based magnesium, I can't. Like they have magnesium stearate, it's plant-based or animal-based. If it's animal-based, I can't do it. If it's plant-based, I can. So it's bizarre.
Well, enough of that crap.
Literally.
So what else is Elon Musk doing? He had the boring company. Go ahead.
Political party. He's trying to start up a third political party.
Heard something about that.
American Party.
Okay.
And I heard that probably a week ago, and I'm just like,
good luck.
Good luck, and don't do it. Stick to what you're good at. Do the tech, do the SpaceX, do your thing. Stay out of politics. And I mean, the Doge thing was fun to watch, but as for a political party, I mean, we see what happens with the Libertarian Party every time there's a vote.
It's a good ideology. As a party, it's kind of a joke. But.
Well put. We'll leave it at that. And so, to start up another political party where you're gonna get some of the liberals, you're gonna get some of the conservatives, and the liberals inside the party will try to destroy the conservatives, and the conservatives in the party will try to destroy the liberals, and you'll end up looking like idiots. So can we just work within what we have? It's what we have. Okay. That was fun. Is somebody like... Please don't tell me that was a...
It sounded like it was, touching either the Canada Dry or the bowl.
Oh, maybe that's what it was, because it's never been that loud. Yeah. No, it was just reminders and an X notification. What?
No, it was an ad.
Yeah. There's, one of them was, it was an email that was an ad. We talked briefly about the Twitter thing, right?
The what?
The Twitter, that sounds terrible. I think it was an awesome move of Elon Musk buying out Twitter and turning it into X. One of those notifications was an X notification.
The social media platform formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, that's what they should just name it.
Twix.
Yeah,
You also have right Twix and left Twix.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so there was something else. Okay. We did the political party. There's another Elon Musk thing that I wanted to... Oh, it's gone. I don't remember. Maybe it's cars. I don't know. But
He had the Boring Company, which is kind of neat. Kind of a scam, but,
That was the one that made the flamethrowers, I think.
Well, that was
one
of their kind of meme products.
Yeah.
So they were most well known for making a flamethrower, which you could buy, and it was kind of neat. But their main objective was boring tunnels.
Oh.
Basically, one of those. You've ever seen those giant rock
with the cone in the front that?
Yeah, kind of. It was really actually they're more flat, and they had these sharp teeth all over.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It rotates and it bores a hole like for subways and stuff.
Yeah, I'm just going from the movie Deep Core.
Yeah.
I think that's
the core.
That is weird.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna turn the vibration thing off.
But anyways, he did that, and California for a while was going for, and they've been doing this for a long time, trying to go for a high-speed rail thing.
Oh, okay.
And they were going.
Elon Musk was reinventing the subway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically. And
I didn't know that at all.
So there's going to be a super high-speed underground thing for California.
Okay.
And how they're all about futuristic technology and stuff. Even though it's not very... You can't put it into practice very well.
Okay.
And it's very expensive. So he basically scammed the government out of a ton of money.
Oh.
And he knew it wouldn't deliver.
Mm-hmm. But hey,
they wanted him to do it, and he took the contract and was like, "Yeah, I'll make this hole in the ground for you," that you're never going to use, but yeah.
Okay, I didn't know about that one.
So got a ton of money and then put it into his other projects, and
there you go.
Yeah. Thanks, California.
California. I'm sure there are good people living in California, out in the country. Your government is psychotic. And it's weird, the same state that produced Ronald Reagan has produced the government it has now.
Gavin Newsom.
Yes.
Nancy Pelosi.
Baffles me. But anyway, I can't remember the other thing about Mr. Musk that I wanted to talk about, so.
Yeah. He also has a touch of the tism.
Probably.
Noteworthy. Oh, he does for sure.
Is that diagnosed?
Yes.
I mean, have you seen where it's diagnosed?
Yeah.
I've known it because I raised one, but I didn't know if it was diagnosed or not.
I think it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a smart guy.
Hyper brilliance.
Mm-hmm.
Socially, a little.
He's done some goofy stuff for sure.
A little not. Yes.
But
a lot of people seem to think of him as a one of those an edgy teenager in an adult's body,
yes.
kind of thing.
That's a good description. That is.
He likes the trench coats.
The trench coats?
Yeah, he likes the trench coats.
I have not seen him in a trench coat. I haven't paid attention, we'll say that. I haven't noticed. So, I'm sure he wears trench coats. But
I remember seeing something where he was like, trying to kind of, I don't know what the reasoning was necessarily, but kind of so I remember seeing something about like, he likes to kind of, style himself a gamer, a fellow kid, I suppose. And there was something that I don't remember I don't remember what the exact circumstance was, but essentially it was discovered that he was like essentially faking some of his game related stuff. Like, I don't remember what the specifics were, but if it was like just, videos of somebody else that he was claiming were his or something like that, but, just, basically a sort of, it's like, oh yeah, I'm all about this stuff. I'm really good and whatnot, when is actually not at all. Things like that.
If I remember right, there was a video of him. You know how you have the two screen, one of him and one of the screen of the game.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. Someone figured out it wasn't actually him that was playing. It was someone like off screen
that
was actually playing the game, and he was just sitting there
commentating,
pretending,
essentially,
pretending like he was.
Oops.
Yeah.
Which when you're, I guess it's one of those, when sure it's not anything like important, I guess, but just showing that you are willing to lie about that sort of thing for whatever cred, it's not exactly a good look regardless. So
yeah, not good. He's definitely a human, but he is a flawed human, just like I am a flawed human. I'm just not that smart. I wish I was. But anyway, anything else?
If I had this kind of money, I'd buy rockets too. Or build rockets too. Yeah.
I'd do cars. I would be the car version.
Yeah, because I guess
my cars would be a whole lot better looking than his. I'm just saying. His sport car, like I don't remember what's it called now. But
the Roadster one.
Yeah, the one
Tesla
that looks
Roadster.
like
the one that's in.
Or are you talking about the Cybertruck?
Yeah,
there's a Tesla Roadster in orbit.
Yeah. Well, it's not in orbit. It's in solar orbit. It's in orbit around the sun now.
How funny.
Yeah,
okay, well, my cars would look better, but
are you thinking about the Cybertruck?
No, I don't like Cybertruck. I'm sorry, it's ugly.
Mm-hmm.
I love all the thought that goes into the idea, but if it's ugly, it's just ugly.
It looks like PS3 graphics.
Yes.
PS2 graphics.
Mm-hmm.
So make a better looking truck. It doesn't have to look like the trucks we're used to, but it has to be better looking than that. So yeah, and the cars, I've seen several of them the last few days and heard them because they have that, special sound. And now that I drive a Prius, I get to have that special sound. But my little low to the ground scooter, work on the design of those cars.
The problem with him,
need to be pretty.
With his cars is parts availability.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have the supply chain.
Like
Ford, the regular car manufacturers, Ford, GM, all the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
You can go down to O'Reilly if you need a part and buy that part.
True.
Teslas, you can't do that.
Right.
You have to spend a buku amount of money at their one special dealer for like half the United States.
Right.
For this one little screw or something. It's 10-cent screw. And, because it's a special screw.
Won't that eventually be better, though? I mean, I guess those have been out for a while, but, the longer they're around, the better supply?
In theory, yes. Usually that's how it happens, but there have been no efforts to... Actually, there have been efforts to reduce part supply. So he has a monopoly on parts. By now, they've been out long enough that if he wanted O'Reilly's to carry Tesla parts,
they could do it.
They could do it.
But are they monopolizing and putting it on? Okay, so they can charge more.
Yeah, it's like trying to repair an Alfa Romeo. You're never going to find parts for that thing, you know? Same thing with the Tesla. You're never going to find parts unless it's through the manufacturer. And they can charge whatever they want to. So.
It's mean. But I don't care because I don't have one and they're ugly. So. It's my humble opinion. All right. It's about time because we got to go have supper.
Well, that was our take on...
Oh, wait, we're not having supper today.
Maybe. We don't know.
Okay. Whatever. Yeah.
None yet. That was our take on Elon's Musk. Come back again next time for our take on something else that we haven't decided yet. If you have suggestions, leave them below and we'll take them into consideration.
You want to hear us really nail it to the wall? Just put it in the comments.
Jesus nailed it.
Well, thankfully.
Well, someone else nailed Jesus.
Someone else nailed it. All right. Off we go.